Action activate!
Here we come, there they go. People rise, 'cause they know we're super soldiers. We got cool clothes. You will soon, you see our pose. Tension, energize. Let's go. Time to ride. Combine. Grease ties.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Gazbot, and this is Action Activate. Now, if I'm Gazbot and this is Action Activate, well, then, with me as always,
It is the big dog. I am here to talk with you about Go-Go Loser Ranger episode 5.
Go 5. Like
I saw that. I for those, deep cut Sentai, actually not even that deep of a cut. It's just
deep cut, the title.
The title of a Sentai from 20-ish years ago, something like that. But we're not here to talk about Go-Go 5. We're here to talk about Go-Go Loser Ranger. This series continues to be good.
Yeah, and continues to throw little curveballs, so it's not being super predictable. I enjoyed this episode. It continues to be consistent.
Yes,
it's consistently good, consistently holding my interest. That's like the best thing I could say about it.
Yeah. Without going too chronologically, the things I want to highlight that I enjoyed in this episode was the revelation that there's another duster down there.
But not just any duster.
Yeah.
The kind of duster that didn't surrender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also like that she looks like a monster. Like she looks like a weird evil human, and she talks about how it's hard for her to keep, because they made a big point of that was his special talent, kind of. Yeah. So I like that she could do it, but not as well as him.
Yeah. The dynamic of him really trying to integrate into the life of I'm forgetting the character's name, but
I want to say Hibiki, is that right?
Maybe. I know they said Hibiki a lot. But trying to integrate and like trying not to be too weird, but
failing.
Yeah, very much failing. Immediately breaking the laptop with all the notes. Loved that.
Yes, the notes of who he knows, how he knows them, etc. Although I will say that I'm pretty annoyed at it's done for comedic effect, But like when he knew we're gonna call him Hibiki. I don't know if that's his name. When Hibiki knew he was giving Fighter his life, essentially, he can't fill him in on all the details of everything he has to do, but he'd be like, by the way, there's another fighter that I keep in my closet, so just be aware. Like, that's a huge detail. He could have said that in one sentence.
Yeah.
Like, why would he leave that out? And was she locked in there? And why was she content to be locked in there? Were they lovers, friends? Like, because at first it seemed like she was sympathetic, but she's like, I'm gonna kill everybody, and it's like she was like, what's happening? Like,
yeah. And it could be a thing. Maybe, she was locked there and he didn't know it. Who knows? Like,
no, because she knew him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She later asked, like, is he okay? Is he like, so when he said, I'm not him, she's like, oh, is he okay? So there was a bit of a concern.
In a relationship.
Friends at the very least, but like.
The dynamic of his sister being Pink Ranger was interesting too.
Agreed. Wait, that's the.
And this is more just me being dumb and it being a little bit since I watched this. She is the Pink Ranger, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, but she's in a wheelchair in her civilian form because she was injured as a child by the God monster, and we also learned that we thought she died, like the way they showed it, the flashback before, but we find out that I think it was the Blue. Was it Blue?
Blue, yeah.
Blue saved them, and so he was fine and she was alive, but she was paralyzed. So we see her talking to him and trying to convince him to quit. And we think, because, he's this pacifist, but then we realize, oh no, because she's so deep into it, she's the Pink Ranger. And I guess when she powers up, she could, walk and use her whole body and everything.
Use a portion of her powers or something.
Yeah.
But
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, that was a good curveball.
It is Hibiki. Look at me. I got it right.
Ninja Steel point for you. The thing I found interesting as well is I know they had mentioned with the Rangers, like, it's kind of more of a role as opposed to like one person as a ranger, but it seems like Blue's been there for a while with the facial scars. There's a shout out.
That was the same Blue Ranger in the flashback?
I believe so.
I
That's
thought
what
it
I
was
was
a different
getting
guy.
at.
Okay.
I believe it's the same one. If you know differently or definitively, let us know. But the way I perceived it, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was, is that's the same Blue then as it is now. So I was going to say with the scars and everything, he kind of gives me a vibe of Conquest from Invincible. For those who have watched or read Invincible, gives me kind of that vibe, which is cool.
I could see that, but maybe maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying to see if I can find the flashback scene here.
I think it's later on, is it not?
I'm not sure. Because it's only for a second. So, no, it's right here in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't see scars there. You see scars?
No, because that's when they're kids.
Okay. So I got confused. You're saying it's the same guy, but in between he gets scars.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was the same guy because all we're seeing is this much of a face. It could be a different guy. So it could be either. We don't know for sure. But that also explains why he originally wanted to join the Rangers before he became disillusioned and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and especially, which the other thing I find interesting with Hibiki's character and his motivations is why he doesn't want to immediately join the Blue faction.
Right.
Or if it's a thing where you have to get recruited and like you don't get to choose. Like that's the part that I'm excited to learn more about that process.
The implication that we've been given up to this point is that he's unaffiliated, but that he's like competent and like well liked or whatever, you know. And he even says like, "Oh, all my fellow trainees are very nice," and we see that is absolutely not true. Yeah. And it's not even like, "Oh, I didn't pick up on these subtle hints." Like they're being like overtly nasty and stuff. So it's
very much. Why am I blanking on his name? Who was our favorite character from SPD?
Bridge?
No, the other one. Kelson plays him. Kelson Henderson.
Orange. Boom. Yes, Boom.
There we go. Very much like that. Like everybody's great. It's like, are you seeing the same stuff we're seeing? Like, oh no, they're just joshing around, you know, kind of thing. Like very much that is what I'm getting from Hibiki of like everybody's nice. No, they're not.
And so that's part of it. But the other part is I wonder if he's as competent as he seems. Like he seemed like not like 100%, not necessarily qualified to be like a hero, but like a good soldier kind of. And it's like, maybe that's not even true. Maybe it's like he hasn't been recruited because he's not that great. But also, why wouldn't he go to Blue? We're kind of getting two stories at once. We're getting the story of I was saved by Blue and I liked them even though my parents said not to, but also, I've discovered it's corrupt and I'm going to take it down. So it's like, who knows? Maybe he doesn't care about Blue anymore, you know?
Yeah. Like maybe it could be a thing where he feels indebted to Blue because Blue saved his life. His sister is Pink.
Right.
But he knows the whole org's down, so he'll take everybody out but them due to honor. Like, who knows? Like,
no, because he talks about, I mean, it's confusing because Fighter D and he are talking about similar stuff and being each other, you know, but I believe the original Hibiki says stuff. I think he says it 2D in the cave, something along the lines like I'm going to take the whole place down no matter what I have to give up. You know, it's worth any price. And like, we think, it's because he cut off his hand. But I think he's saying like, even if I have to take down my sister, I think is what he's really saying.
Yeah.
And then these two, just not getting along.
Yeah.
And
there wasn't. Go for it.
Well, it's funny because she's like, when she finds out like, you gave up, you're a weak one. I would never give up. And okay, fair enough, whatever. But she's also kind of an idiot. Like as much as we think he's this goofball, like he understands, like I can't just attack this place. That I'll be done in a second. And she's like, let's go. Like what? And this comes back to the Hibiki thing. Was she trying to start a revolution and kill everybody while Hibiki was there, or was she like, I just need one ally and that's all I need? Like I don't know.
The thing I liked about this episode was. I do like the action in the show, but this was an episode that gave a lot more backstory without feeling boring.
World building, as you've talked about, you want to see more about this, and I agree.
Yeah. So that's why this review will be a little shorter. Not because nothing goes on, just because it's like it's a lot of built-up exposition and world building where it's like we're not going to tell you the 10-minute explanation they gave. We're going to give you one sentence summary because that's what it is.
Yeah. I will say though, maybe character growth or just showing how the fighter we know is better than this other fighter in another way, that he lured, she's like, let's go. And he realizes he can't stop her. And she's like, it's going to take me a while to change. And he's like, okay. And then he cuts her head off, which is what people kept doing to him. So he's like, oh, you know what? I know what's going to work here. Like, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, I like that as well. I'm excited to see, this is more of a call shot because we haven't seen it too much, I don't think, because it'd be from episode 1, so I'm forgetting. But I'm curious if they're gonna find a way of like melding to become stronger.
The two dusters?
Yeah,
That's an interesting concept.
yeah. That I think would be cool because again, they're constant. He at least is constantly learning how to improve, how to blend in more, how to use his powers differently. So I could see her having more raw power and him being like, "Let's combine my craftiness with your raw power, and we're gonna like make our arm into a cannon now instead of just a blade."
Like literal cannon fire, where she would just like run as fast as she could at the enemy, and whereas he's like kind of becoming a real soldier, or like using tactics and things like that. So
she is the definition of "I will battering ram this door."
Yes, and he's like maybe. I also like when he's kind of cornered, and he's like, "What would Hibiki say?" And he gets all dramatic. He's like, "I will never give." But it's like he feels that way too, and it's solidifying that like they're very similar and they have the same purposes. The point where
I'm waiting for them to break like literal, like legitimate tension with him, just like kind of like a small moment of like semi-comedic relief of like, damn it, I think we're best friends, like something like that of like, God, like I really like this guy. He's really not that bad.
Yup.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like he's just sitting in a cave, losing blood, holding his stump, and he's just like, man, he's not that bad, and then goes and does whatever he has to do. But yeah, episode 6.
This is worth talking about, though.
Oh yes,
it ends with Pink coming and attacking a bunch of like low-level thugs that are assaulting this girl, and they're kind of like, "Oh, I didn't think we'd be bothered," and she beats him up and then sits there, and that's fine. But she's like, "I think I see that rebellious look in your eyes," and then there's this very weird scene where Pink is thinking about her brother. And I don't know if this is a cultural thing where she's like crying about we might come together or we're going to fight or whatever. But it felt like weirdly romantic or even like sexual.
Yeah.
And
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Like she was making weird noises and like, and I'm like, is this just like something I'm not getting because it's Japanese?
I think it might be a thing you're not getting, but also like kind of like with anything else, if I don't understand it in one episode, I give it at least one to like fully show itself, and then after that we could say icky, not for me, or I totally called that wrong, it's actually this.
And it could be icky. Here's the thing, she's not the hero of the show. I don't need to like her, you know what I mean? So it could be she's a weird icky person, and that won't make me not watch the show. But I'm like, okay, we already know she's sort of like maybe on the wrong side of the morals of this conflict, but is she also like extra weird on top of that, where she's like having
go back to the Dusters. This episode made me think one thing, and it was during these end credits.
Cosplay?
Yes, during it, I was like, how much are these onesie or these one-piece suits going for? Because when I saw everybody, I'm like, I definitely feel like 2 of these Dusters. Not 3. 2 of these Dusters I feel like I'm closer to, and the other 3 you're a lot closer to, so I'm like,
I mean, I'm close. I feel like I need one in between these two for my body type.
But that's the thing. For this, it's like a Dusters, anything, anybody. All right, cool.
You don't have to be muscular or specific body shape. Yeah. No.
Are you a living husk of meat? Great, Duster.
Yeah, and it does seem like the only hard part would be the mask / helmet.
Yeah. So I looked. There is a company that sells these full onesies for about $50.
Does it have the design on them or just the black?
It's all as D, I believe.
Okay.
Like it defaults it as D.
You could change that if you needed to.
Yeah. But I don't remember if it might have come with a mask.
Maybe it's one of those like where it's part of the suit masks.
Or it might have been a separate. Let's just look. I think it was up for easy cosplay, which I've heard mixed reviews about. It's kind of the equivalent of ordering from Wish.
Well, I feel like that's like if you just feel like having a goof, sure. But if you're like, I want to do a real cosplay that people are gonna compliment.
This is one where there's enough time before Power Morphicon where I'm like, we could theoretically.
I mean, we could, if it's like a one-piece thing, we could remove the top. Oh, that makes it look good. I feel like it probably won't look that good in real life, but we could theoretically get them and like man the booth and just like pull the mask down.
Oh yeah. No, I have a feeling because of that neckerchief that's a separate mask.
Right.
Like I would legit just walk around that con without a mask on and just be like, "Hey, look, I'm a duster for whoever knows." Like,
right, and you could pretend that you've modeled your face after somebody. Oh, look, I look like Gazbot. You know him.
Whatever. So, we'll talk more about that offline. But if you're down, I'll do it.
I'm on the fence.
Okay.
If we weren't working and we were just going for fun, I'd 100% be in. But I'm thinking about when I wore the Gold Ranger suit behind the table and how it was fun, but it was not.
Okay, you were wearing armor. That's different.
But I also might want to bring my armor.
You could do both, one for each day. Anyways, we are Action Activate, and I have been the Big Dog.
I've been Gazbot.
And to the power. See y'all later.
Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
I hate you. I forgot that was a thing that you have recorded.
Been a while.
What was I gonna say? I don't know how you feel about the intro and outro. I'm loving it more each episode, man.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, and especially I also like the beginning, the intro is kind of serious. It's this puppet, the strings are cut, and everybody's pulling them, and it's like identity and free will. And the end is like we all dance. Hey, let's just be goofy.
Very anime peacekeeper energy or peacemaker energy. There we go. But yeah,
and the recording. See you next week, everybody.